Hello?
Hello.
Okay, so we have been already introduced. We are working in Cablescom. Cablescom is a Henton company in Spain. Jesus is our sales director and I am the CEO. We'll try to give you a very, very short overview about the application and market development in Europe. First, we need to locate ourselves. So who we are, as I told you, a cable manufacturer. We started in 1971 being a copper telecom cable manufacturer. Then in 1982 we started to manufacture optical fiber cable, and since 2016 we are part of Henton Group. During all our history we've been part of multinational groups like Corning, like BICC, like General Cable, and a South African group named Aberdare, and as I told you, since 2016 we are part of Henton Group. We are in Europe, in Spain, in Zaragoza. Zaragoza is a town located between Madrid and Barcelona, just in the middle. Okay, so our presentation will be about the applications and the market development of optical fiber cable in Europe. Nevertheless, before entering into more details about cable itself, we want to include this in a better picture. So, the telecom network on the future should be prepared, like all our experts were talking these days, to handle all these wonderful things that we have now, which are internet, e-commerce, multimedia, digitalization, big data, voice, customer network. And of course, for all this network of the future, we need fiber. So fiber optic cable is the best option to support all these 5G, Internet of Things, big data, and of course, fiber to the home. Why? I will just make a short summary, but all the experts already explained to you much better than myself. So it's safe, cost efficiency, very easy installation, and minimum latency, and very important, able to handle a huge amount of traffic of data. The expansion of optical fiber network in Europe, Jesus will explain to you.
Let's go to see what is the forecast for the coming years in the big 5 countries in Europe. As you can see, the demand for the next coming year will be stable in comparison with China. China will be increased. We can highlight the demand in France. In France, there are around 16 million fiber kilometers for the next coming year, and the rest of the country will be increased the demand, except in Spain. In Spain is decreasing because the FTTH network deployment is very advanced construction. The different technologies of cable that we have in Europe, we can say that there are 4 main different cable technologies. The main use in more pro is the loose tube cable. The loose tube cable is the older technology. The main characteristic is large diameter of the cable, high mechanical performance. Also, a version of loose tube cable is the micro cable. The micro cable is a small diameter cable, but with low mechanical protection. Tie buffer technology is used mainly for the inside of the building. Also have high mechanical protection and very large diameter of cable. And finally, micromodule. Micromodule technology is a small diameter than loose tube cable. Also have very high mechanical protection. And the difference with the loose tube, they don't have central elements. It could be used also in any kind of installation. First, to explain the micromodules advantage in detail, let's go to review what is the main part of a standard optical cable. Of course, both have fiber. The main difference is in the secondary protection. In loose tube technology is PVT. In micromodule is a small tube, and also a big difference in the tensile element strength. With the loose tube cable, usually are aramid yarns, and micromodule cable is a FRP element in both sides of the sheet. Today, we are only focused in the two main technologies, micromodule versus loose tube, because both of them are the most popular in Europe. The main characteristic of the micromodule versus loose tube is the cable has a small diameter. As you can see in the slide, for a standard cable of 144 fibers, a loose tube cable could take around 15 mm the outer diameter versus 10.5 mm in a micromodule cable. That means 30% less diameter. Of course, this means that it's easier to install in the duct, and also they have lower cost for renting. Other important characteristic for the micromodule is the flexibility. Flexibility of the cable, in combination with the use of the fiber G65782, make this kind of cable the best solution for indoor application. Other important characteristic is that a micromodule cable is more easier to handle with the passive hardware in the closure on the ODF because the flexibility and the small diameter. As you can see in the video, you can save a lot of time in the preparation of a tip of cable. Fourth, we can say that using micromodule cable, we avoid the kinking effect. The kinking effect is typical in the loose tube cable. When you bend the tube, usually broken and could damage the cable. Using micromodule cable, you avoid this kind of problem during the installation process. And the last characteristic is you can save a lot of time during the installation. In the video, you can see the difference between the preparation at tip of cable with micromodule and the preparation at tip of cable with loose tube. The main difference is that the micromodule you can be removed only with the fingers without any kind of tool. Also, there are less jelly inside of the micromodule, that the cleaning of the cable is faster. And finally, also it's easier to remove the tensile element strength than in the loose tube cable. In this case, for a cable of 72 fibers, the difference is from 4 minutes to 13 minutes. That means 67% less time.
Okay, so summarizing what Jesus explained to you, it seems that micromodule cables would be better than loose tube. Why? Because in a smaller diameter we can have a higher fiber density, so we can install it in less. We can use less duct occupation. So in a duct we can use more cables or a higher number of fiber cables. Micromodule cables is a perfect solution for indoor deployment due to the flexibility in a small radius blend, as Jesus explained to you. We have a cost reduction in the material use due to the size also. The quality problems during installation, also due to the flexibility, are less. And maybe one of the most important is that we save a lot of time and money in the installation, which means saving money for the operator, saving money for the installer, saving money for everybody.
And now the question is, which technology shall we use? As you know, in a normal network there are different kinds of infrastructure. There are urban areas with that pipe. Interurban links also use that pipe. The aerial installation using poles, and in the urban areas it's very common also to install the cables through the facade. And finally, the installation of the cable in the buildings. In the slide you can see the difference of the three main technologies in Europe: loose-tube, microcable, and micromodule. Micromodule is the only one that can be used in all kinds of infrastructure. Usually the operator have different designs of the cable for the different infrastructure. One usually for the underground installation, another different design for the aerial cables, and other different design for indoor building application. Our recommendation, in order to reduce the CapEx and to optimize the network, is using the same design of cable for all outdoor applications. For that, for aerial and for facade. The main advantage that we can have is that we simplify the logistic, we reduce the number of optical closures, minimize the cable wastage, and make the installation easier. All these advantages for all the players involved in the chain, also for the operator, for the installation companies, and of course for the factory of steel. In this slide you can see the main operator in Europe that currently are using loose-tube cable. Because it's an older technology and more probe technology, is in the most part of the Europe, in the most important part of the all countries. Micromodule cable is focused in France because was the country where was invited this technology, but also due to Orange is the main operator in France, he has extended this technology to other subsidiaries in other countries in Europe.
So now maybe we can ask ourselves why some operators choose loose-tube, why others choose micromodules. Both of them are good, both of them are used, both of them are proved. As Jesus explained, Orange invested to develop this technology in France in 1980s, and then they in France was mainly this kind of technology, also because the manufacturer in France preferred to use it, but both of them are good. So as a final conclusion to our presentation, we can say that fiber it will be key in the development of the communication. Fiber consumption and demand will still grow on, irrespective of the economic cycles, because we need the fiber, we need to communicate. We cannot give up to a better communication, to a faster communication, to a more complex communication. Of course, we can also say that both technology, main technology, micromodules and loose-tube will coexist in Europe, at least by now. Of course, we'll have to develop better cables, smaller cables, to have place to install all these cables, but both technology could coexist. And obviously, to access the European market, the manufacturer who master both technology will have advantage. And in this sense, we can say that Hendon Group has proven a very good strategy, because we developed optical fiber and all the technology of optical fiber cables. And this allowed to Hendon Group to be part of the development of the network of optical fiber cable in Europe, as you can see, in a lot of countries. What's the future? Already explained. Some of our slides have been explained before. This is the problem to be during the last explaining things. Okay, so many new technologies are based on wireless, but as our colleague said before, wireless require wires. So it's clear that the physical network to support the emerging technologies like 5G, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data, all of them will require optical fiber cables. We don't know which one. We still work to develop new cables, as it was explained here, but the optical cable fiber will not disappear. And of course, our group is working to develop all the technologies required for the future, all the technologies required to support the new emerging 5G, and we hope that we'll still be in the first in the world. Thank you very much.
感谢两位的精彩演讲。下面有请中国信息通信研究院 ICT 产业